If you're juggling multiple HDMI devices and thought the Insignia 3-port HDMI switch would effortlessly simplify your setup, hold on, because what I'm about to reveal might just change your mind. This device promises to connect up to 3 HDMI sources to one output, supporting full 4K HDR and DTS-HD audio, which sounds perfect, right? But here's what surprised me. It doesn't work as seamlessly as advertised, and plenty of users are running into hidden problems you won't hear about in the product description. Stay tuned, because I'm going to expose exactly what you need to know before you buy or even consider this switch. Now, if you're someone with a complex home theater setup or the average streamer tired of swapping HDMI cables every time, this review is especially for you. You deserve a device that performs, not one that leaves you frustrated or scrambling for solutions. In the next few minutes, I'll take you through my experience testing this switch, including the good stuff, the glitches, and why it might still be worth buying depending on your setup. Ready? Let's dive in. First off, the Insignia 3-port HDMI switch boasts some solid specs on paper. It supports full 4K HDR signals up to 18 Gbps, includes HDCP 2.2 compatibility, meaning it should work with protected content, and can supposedly handle high-definition Blu-rays, video games, and premium cable channels with Dolby True HD and DTS-HD audio. That's a lot to pack into this little box for just under $55. But here's the kicker. Specs don't always translate into real-world performance, especially when you dive into user reviews and anecdotes. During my test, hooking up 3 devices, an Xbox, a streaming device, and a Blu-ray player, seemed straightforward at first. Plug-and-play was pretty much as promised. The included owner's manual is uncomplicated, and the switch's compact design doesn't take up much space or create clutter. The Select button allows manual switching between devices, which is handy if you want full control without a remote. So far, so good. But then the problem started to show its ugly head. The biggest complaint across user reviews, confirmed by my experience, involves signal inconsistency and random dropouts. Sometimes the switch failed to deliver a 4K HDR signal correctly, defaulting to lower resolutions or losing HDR altogether. This is a huge blow if you have a top-tier TV capable of stunning visuals and expect flawless playback. It's like buying a sports car only to find out the accelerator sticks sometimes. Not exactly a thrill. Also, the switch struggled with HDCP handshake issues, causing intermittent black screens or no signal warnings when switching between certain devices. It's frustrating, especially when you're mid-game or trying to catch a show. And then there's the subtle but annoying latency delay when switching between inputs. It's not instantaneous, and sometimes you end up pressing the button multiple times wondering if the switch caught the command, or if your remote control missed a memo during the annual electronics uprising. On a lighter note, I half expected it to start negotiating HDMI demands like a stubborn toddler saying no to bedtime. Now, you might wonder, why do these issues happen? Well, the Insignia switch is essentially an affordable, no-frills device serving a niche well below premium HDMI matrix switches. It's designed more for budget-conscious users who want to cut the cable clutter but might not mind occasional hiccups. The internal chipset and firmware often don't handle HDCP handshakes or 4K HDR pass-through as cleanly as expensive professional-grade switches. Think of it like buying a cheap scooter for city commuting. You can get from A to B, but don't expect it to win the Grand Prix. Here's an interesting twist. Despite these problems, lots of users still love this switch. Why? Because it's ridiculously easy to set up, compact, and can work reliably if your devices and cables play nicely. For less demanding setups, say, switching between 2 streaming sticks and an older console, it might do just fine. This product is not for cinephiles or hardcore gamers chasing perfect signal integrity every time. It's best suited for casual users looking for a budget HDMI switch that mostly works and can handle standard HD and some 4K content without too much fuss. Let's also talk about the build quality and included accessories. The Insignia Switch ships with a power adapter and a basic but useful manual. Its design is sleek, black matte finish with an LED indicator for input selection. The ports are snug, securing cables well, which is a plus since loose connections often cause signal interruptions. However, the power adapter is a bulky little brick, so if you want to keep your setup neat, you might need to reroute your cables creatively or invest in a slimmer adapter with the right specs. Not exactly a deal breaker, but worth noting. You might ask, are there better alternatives? Absolutely. You can find HDMI switches with reliable auto switching, remote control support, and stronger HDCP compliance at slightly higher price points. Some even support ARC or EARC for audio return channel, which the Insignia lacks. But those alternatives bump the price well over $60 or more, so it comes down to your budget and priorities. If you want luxury, pay luxury. If budget's tight, this switch could fill the gap. Just don't expect miracles. Now let's address a funny side note. A few users have joked that this switch has a personality, sometimes choosing to connect to an HDMI port at random when it feels like it, just to keep you on your toes. Imagine your switch as a moody barista mixing your coffee the way it feels, rather than what you ordered. While this might be an exaggeration, it highlights the occasional unpredictability that can make you question whether to hit the select button or reboot the device altogether. At least it's better than accidentally switching to your mother-in-law's channel during dinner, right? Speaking of that, another joke floating around is that this switch is like the ultimate magician. Now you see your 4K HDR content. Now you don't. Poof, signal vanished. It keeps things interesting, I suppose. But seriously, if you're paying $55 for hassle-free switch, you want your signals as dependable as your morning coffee, not a disappearing act. Let me share a quick story. I had my Xbox, Fire Stick, and Blu-ray player all plugged in during a movie night. At one point, I switched to the Blu-ray, and the screen went black for nearly 10 seconds before the content popped up. My friends watched me frantically pressing the button like I was trying to win a game show buzzer round. It wasn't the smooth experience the product page suggested, but by switching back and forth a few times, the right connection stuck. Patience is key here, but I'd rather not have to develop ninja reflexes to operate a simple HDMI switch. So, should you buy the Insignia 3-port HDMI switch? Here's my honest take. If your setup isn't super demanding and you're okay with the occasional hiccup or having to toggle inputs a couple of times, this is a fine budget option. It's well priced, supports 4K HDR, and can reduce cable swapping hassle significantly. However, if you want seamless switching, rock-solid HDCP compliance, and zero latency, I'd recommend stepping up to a more premium model. After all, your TV deserves the best, especially when you're shelling out big bucks for 4K and HDR-capable gadgets. Before I let you go, one final promise. Stick around for the best Amazon link in current pricing. The price fluctuates quickly on this device, so if you decide to pick it up, grab the best deal before it jumps. I've dropped the link in the description below. To wrap up on a positive note, the Insignia 3-port HDMI switch simplifies juggling multiple devices better than swapping cables all the time. It may have some quirks, but with basic setups, it works well enough to make your life easier. And $55 is a reasonable investment for that convenience. Just go in with realistic expectations and a bit of patience. This little switch isn't perfect, but it gets the job done more often than not, helping reduce the chaos behind your entertainment center. Remember, the next time you think about unplugging and replugging HDMI cables every time you switch devices, a budget HDMI switch like this could be a worthwhile upgrade. Just know its limits, and if your setup gets more complex, consider alternatives. Don't forget, The link for the best price on Amazon is right below, and prices tend to jump fast. Check it out before the deal disappears. Until then, happy streaming and gaming.